This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Welcome into you. I'm Rebecca Smith.
I'm Bill Bryant. We hope you had a great weekend and you're ready to go. Here we are. It's Monday morning, July 18th, a hot week ahead in our weather. And now at 6 a.m., Baton Rouge in mourning again. Less than 2 weeks after the shooting death of a black man, the community is now grieving over the deaths of 2 city police officers and a sheriff's deputy.
As law enforcement agencies mourn the deaths of their fellow officers, authorities here in Kentucky are also showing their support.
And several Central Kentucky auto shops gathered to raise money for family members of one shop owner who died last month, a worker there. See how the endless support has kept his family going.
Yeah, we have nothing going on this morning. It is calm outside, but look to the north of us. That is not calm. It's heading our direction. Look at northern Kentucky here in about an hour to an hour and a half. You'll start to see those storms appear, and they'll be hit and miss as we go through the day. I'm going to go over the timing and also the severity of these storms coming up.
Okay, thank you. Let's get to the news.
Families in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, once again mourning violence in their city.
The victims this time are police officers who were targeted and killed less than 2 weeks after the officer-involved shooting death of Elton Sterling. Scott McLean reports.
All I saw when we pulled up and took around through the windshield, he had a mask on.
What led Gavin Long to gun down Baton Rouge, Louisiana police officers on his 29th birthday? Investigators say the former Marine opened fire with an AR-15 style assault rifle before he himself was killed by police. Long, who legally changed his name to Cosmo Seta-Penra, made postings online saying, quote, "Fighting back was the way to bring social change."
If y'all want to keep protesting, do that. But for the serious ones, the real ones, the alpha ones, we know what it's going to take.
Meanwhile, fallen officers Montrell Jackson, Matthew Gerald, and Brad Garafola are being remembered for their service and dedication. Jackson's uncle described him as selfless.
He just was a self-motivated person who thought he can do something to help, just other people be better. And he's been like that all his life.
The deadly shootout comes nearly 2 weeks after the controversial death of Alton Sterling and the police shooting of African-American driver Philando Castile in Minnesota. Police nationwide have been on high alert since 5 Dallas officers were killed by a gunman who expressed anger over police shootings. The Dallas attack was the deadliest incident for law enforcement since September 11th.
And police departments all across the nation are mourning the loss of the 3 officers who were killed in Louisiana.
Here in the Bluegrass, departments throughout the state took to social media to try and show their support and remember their fellow officers. WKYT's Mark Barber continues our top story team coverage live in Lexington.
Good morning, Rebecca. This morning, officers here in Central Kentucky are grieving for those 3 police officers who were shot and killed in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Here in Lexington, officers say they've been receiving notes of appreciation for several days now. In a Facebook post, Lexington police called the shooting in Louisiana absolutely heartbreaking. They said, quote, "This job isn't easy, but it's a career we chose because we care deeply about serving and protecting this city and its people." Just 10 days before the 3 officers were shot and killed in Louisiana, 5 officers were gunned down in Dallas. In Franklin County, the Sheriff Department is asking people to remember the families of the officers who died. They posted a Bible verse from the book of Matthew on their Facebook page. It reads in part, quote, "Blessed are the peacemakers." The sheriff says that's what everyone in law enforcement wants to see right now, peace. Peace within their communities and peace within law departments that police those communities.
Our country right now is in a very, very ugly spot, and I never thought I'd see the day that it would come to it, that police officers and sheriff's deputies are being targeted.
Sheriff Pat Melton is asking his deputies to look out for one another right now because of all the unrest. He says it is still important to underscore the fact that the tension and a lot of the issues that are dividing many areas of the country right now are not playing out like that here at home. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, we thank you very much. And state officials also weighed in on the shooting in Baton Rouge. U.S. Senate Majority Leader and Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell released a statement saying, quote, "This unjustifiable attack is not just an attack on law enforcement, it is an attack on the very principles that bind us as a nation." And Governor Matt Bevin tweeted, "Let us all stand united in condemning the evil that is being unleashed on those who are protecting us." To read Senator McConnell or Governor Bevin's full statements, you can find those right now on WKYT.com. Other news, a trial is set to begin today for a high-profile Lexington murder case. Matthew Donahue is accused of killing his boyfriend Todd Schumacher at a home on Lamont Drive in January of last year. Donahue is also accused of putting the victim's dog in a hot oven. Earlier this month, Donahue's lawyers asked a judge to exclude some evidence from his trial case. The defense says their client was under the influence of a, quote, "fistful of sleeping pills," and police coerced his confession. The judge denied the request to limit the evidence. The trial is expected to start at 9 o'clock this morning.
New this morning, a family was forced out of their home after an overnight fire. It started about midnight on Sea Ridge Road near Bluegrass Parkway in Anderson County. Authorities say the fire completely engulfed the home. No one was injured, but crews say that home is a total loss. The cause of the fire is still under investigation this morning. Authorities in Georgia are trying to figure out what caused a boat to flip, killing 4 Kentuckians. Divers on Lake Lanier found the bodies of Anthony Reese Jr. and Arthur McMahon yesterday morning. Their wives, Tammy Reese and Melissa McMahon, were found Saturday. The 2 couples were at the lake for a charity poker run when the accident happened. The Reeses are from Adair County, the McMahons from Bullitt County. Their children have released a statement saying, "Our parents meant the world to us. We never realized how much impact they had on people's lives." The statement goes on to say they were one of a kind and will truly be missed. Thank you again for your continued prayers.
Several Central Kentucky auto shops gathered to raise money for family members of one shop's worker who died last month. Jeremy Hampton died in a crash on Nicholasville Road. He'd worked at Lucky's Auto Sports for some time. Several auto shops from around the area came together over the weekend to raise money for Hampton's family. People rode their bikes or cars to celebrate Jeremy's life, and they also sold T-shirts with his name on it to help raise money.
We just felt like this was something that he would enjoy doing and enjoy being done to remember him.
We have just been overwhelmed at the outpouring of grief and support that we've gotten.
Jeremy's stepmother says losing him has been tough, but seeing the joy his memory brings has been comforting to the family.
A groundbreaking for a new youth facility gets underway in Jessamine County this morning. The Kentucky United Methodist Homes for Children and Youth will start working on the state-of-the-art facility in Nicholasville. WKYT's Mike Byer joins us from where the ceremony will take place in just a few hours. Good morning.
Good morning, Rebecca. The groundbreaking ceremony will start at 10 this morning, and the location of it will be 1115 Ash Grove Road in Nicholasville. That's where the facility is going to be built. The ceremony will feature several guest speakers, including Attorney General Andy Beshear, as well as United Methodist Bishop Lindsey Davis. Once again, the $15 million campus will be located right here in Nicholasville on 1115 Ash Grove Road. The facility is for abused, neglected, and abandoned children. The new campus will feature a state-of-the-art program building, paddocks for equine therapy, and an on-campus learning facility staffed by Jessamine County's renowned alternative school educators. Once again, that groundbreaking ceremony starts at 10 this morning. Live in Jessamine County, Mike Byer, WKYT.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Well, Pikeville is preparing to unveil a statue of one of its most famous residents, former Kentucky Governor Paul Patton. According to our news partners at the Herald Leader, the 9-foot bronze statue of Patton will be unveiled next Tuesday. The Pikeville Main Street program is responsible for getting the monument and getting it in place. Main Street Director Minta Trimble says she is excited to honor Patton for all he has done for Pikeville and the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Some locations early this morning do not feel good. I mean, it is humid outside as you walk out the door. Here in Lexington, capital city of Frankfort, we're still in the low 70s too. And the good news here is no rain as you're walking out the door right now. That is going to change in the upcoming hours. There's 73 degrees right now in Fayette County. And as we drive through the day, watch this. Look northbound. Nothing going on right now. but these storms will continue to increase southbound, and that will affect our northern zones here in about an hour to an hour and a half. If you're sitting up toward that Boone, Kenton, Campbell County area, expect it right around that 8 a.m., maybe even 9 a.m. in some locations, just a little bit farther down toward the south than that. So here's the timeline. I've mapped it out for you guys that are going to be taking off at that time. 7 a.m. to about 9 a.m. right there in northern Kentucky, and that does include portions of Mason County, Pendleton, Bracken. Go down toward Grant, and then work your way back over toward Trimble and Carroll counties. 10 a.m. to noon around that 64 corridor. That does include Lexington. So Lexington, anywhere from 10 a.m. to about noontime is when you expect these storms to move on in. The severe threat is not zero, but it's at least close. I mean, this is a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms, which means the lowest risk of severe weather you can expect. So what this means for us today, what this means is most of us will deal with strong thunderstorms, about 60% chance that we actually see those. And that means heavy rain, that means some lightning, maybe some strong winds involved, 40, 50 miles per hour. But if you're talking about severe weather, you're talking about a stray cell here or there, and that's about it. No widespread severe weather within this. Is going to be more of just beneficial rain to the yards. 90 degrees by the afternoon. Some will stay in the 80s if you're kind of socked in with that rain all throughout the day. And that's mainly late morning, early afternoon. That's when the bulk of it moves on through. Late afternoon off into the evening hours, it starts to fade. There's still a chance during that time, but it will start to fade during that time too. Then we head off toward Tuesday, hit and miss thunderstorms in the forecast, about 40%. And then the heat cranks up. Look at that, 91 degrees on Thursday, 92 on Friday. And then let's throw one more degree on top of that, and 93 degrees on Saturday. Guys, this is a summertime setup right here. And this is a strand of days that we haven't felt or seen in quite some time. So this is definitely going to be one of those times if you work outside, if you have the kids outside, a lot of water, try to throw on that sunscreen, because give it 10 to 15 minutes, you start to get that burn on your skin once we get toward mid and late week. But the next couple of days, all about the storms. We'll be watching those as we go throughout the morning hours.
We'll do that. I just put up a video of somebody slipping and sliding in the car in snow and ice.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, they can have that.
Right.
Where was that?
See, with the rain.
Back in, back in the winter.
Yeah.
So it gives us some perspective. We get it all here in Kentucky, don't we? 612 on WKYT this morning.
Each morning we bring you weather and traffic. Here's a look with Officer Don at what's happening out on the roads. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Well, no wrecks. Of course, they're in the construction zone already on Todd's Road this morning. That is between Man-O-War and the I-75 overpass. No delays there yet, but crews have shifted things around a little bit. So if you haven't driven through there in a while, please be careful on the way in. Let's get a look outside right now, and we'll show you what to expect as far as real-time traffic flow is concerned this morning. With no wrecks in the way, we're okay on Nicholasville Road. Also on the north side, Paris Pike looks great, and so does the interstate. Drive times holding our own, about 13 minutes from Nicholasville, 17 from Georgetown, and from Paris we're looking at about 17 minutes so far with no major issues. Of course, we will keep you up to date throughout the morning. Now back to you in the studio.
Okay, so far so good out there. Everybody be sure your coolant levels are good out there this week with all that heat that's on the way. 613 on WKYT, and we're glad to have you with us. A lot more news on the way for you.
Yes, the Republican National Convention kicks off in Cleveland today. How presumptive GOP nominee Donald Trump looks to change his image ahead. Welcome back. The time is 6:17. The Republican National Convention is opening up today. 50,000 people expected to just flood Cleveland, Ohio for the event.
Big political event, and of course the Democrats next week. The lineup for opening day for the Republicans includes a wide range of speakers. Donald Trump once promised it would be a showbiz convention, but it's shaping up to be a more family-focused affair. Tonight, his wife, Melania Trump, is going to be among the headliners. Weijia Jiang has a preview from Cleveland.
The theme for the opening day is Make America Safe Again. On Sunday, Donald Trump and running mate Indiana Governor Mike Pence spoke about national security during their first interview together on 60 Minutes.
We have people that hate us. We have people that want to wipe us out. We're going to declare war against ISIS. We have to wipe out ISIS.
Monday's marquee speakers include Trump's wife Melania and retired Army Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. The lineup ranges from parents of Americans killed in terrorist attacks to reality show stars to actors. Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani is also set to speak.
The RNC has planned for this convention for over a year, not only for events here inside the arena, but heightened security measures outside.
We planned for anything and everything that could happen.
500 of the city's officers are assigned to the convention, and thousands more from across the country traveled here to help. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, Cleveland, Ohio.
All right, Melania Trump, obviously the potential First Lady. Well, the head of Cleveland's police union asked Governor John Kasich to temporarily suspend Ohio's open carry law. A spokesperson for the governor said that he does not have the authority to do that. Authorities in Turkey fear that the threat against the government there is not over yet. A senior official says F-16 jets guarded the Turkish airspace overnight after a faction within the military launched an attempted coup late Friday against Turkey's president. So far, authorities have arrested thousands of people allegedly involved in the bloody incident.
An American student is confirmed dead among those who were killed in last week's attack in Nice, France. The University of California, Berkeley said in a statement investigators identified the body of Nicholas Leslie. The 20-year-old was from Del Mar in the San Diego area. The school says 3 other UC Berkeley students were injured in the attack. All suffered broken bones. SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket launched from Cape Canaveral early this morning. The rocket is carrying the Dragon CRS-9 spacecraft with a cargo of supplies for the International Space Station. The CRS-9 also carrying an international docking adapter. This is the second attempt to launch the critical space station docking port. The last one went up in smoke over the Atlantic last year. NASA needs this new docking setup at the ISS before Americans can fly there in crew capsules next year.
All right, nighttime launches are always impressive. Our time this morning is right now hitting 6:20 on WKYT. Microsoft says it won't meet its own goal of getting Windows 10 on 1 billion devices by 2018. The company blames its decision to scale back production of its smartphones over the last year. It will also stop providing the upgrade for free. As of the end of July, it will cost $119. In what may be a sign of things to come, driving tests in the UK will now require everyone to use a satellite navigation system in order to get a license. The government wants to make sure that people can handle distractions and manage risks. Also this morning, ready-to-assemble furniture maker IKEA is recalling 80,000 baby gates. The Consumer Product Safety Commission said this week that gates can unlock by themselves, and that can lead to falls. 10 injuries have been reported, including 2 concussions, according to the CPSC. The recalled gates include the following: the Patrol Safety Gate and Extension, the Fast Safety Gate, and the Patrol Clama Safety Gate and Extension. Finally, summertime gasoline prices at the pump are at their lowest level in 11 years, and that's thanks to low oil prices and more production. And AAA says Americans are taking full advantage of that, hitting the road in record numbers. A lot of people up for a road trip right now.
Right, you can't really have any excuse not to take a road trip, right, with gas being that cheap. WKYT this morning is just getting started. A NASA satellite captured a lunar photobomb over the weekend. Have a look at the Earth getting mooned when we return.
We have some storms on the way. They are barreling down on us. The rain chances will increase not only for today, but for tomorrow too. And then the heat really cranks up. We're going over all that with the timing on these coming up next.
Welcome back. It's 6:25 this morning. Authorities in Louisiana are trying to figure out what motivated Sunday's deadly ambush on Baton Rouge police officers.
And that's what is trending at this hour. Investigators say Gavin Long, a decorated ex-Marine, acted alone when he exchanged gunfire with officers at a gas station, killing at least 3 officers. Long was shot and killed at the scene. Want to check weather? We have a hot week, it looks like, on the way. Meteorologist Micah Harris is keeping track. We'll also watch for storms arriving later this morning.
Yeah, and we're going to see the rounds of thunderstorms the next couple of days. Now, I don't see widespread severe weather, nothing like that. However, strong thunderstorms, heavy rain, and also some lightning will be with us today and tomorrow. Let's go ahead and focus our attention northbound because it's lit up like a Christmas tree there. Indiana and also Ohio, it is an early start for my friends there in Indianapolis as those storms roll on through. Heads up northern Kentucky. We're going to be seeing these storms right around northern Kentucky, Boone, Kenton, Campbell counties here in just about an hour. So an hour to an hour and a half heads up northern Kentucky, and then it slides southbound around Lexington anywhere from 10 a.m. to about noontime. So we're going to be talking about these and also what you can expect the next couple of days with all that heat that's coming up.
Okay, we'll see you in just a bit. Solar phenomenons usually take the spotlight with great videos, but it's not every day that you see video of the Earth getting mooned.
Apparently it can happen. Cool video of the Earth getting straight photobombed by the moon was captured by NASA, their satellite again. Yes, it is actually the second time in a year the moon was captured passing between the planet and the satellite, resulting in yet another lunar photobomb.
Amazing to see, though, isn't it?
That's neat. That is really cool.
It really is. All right, it's good to have you with us on WKYT, and all of our top stories are coming right up.
Yeah, when WKYT this morning returns, friends of a fallen Kentucky state trooper are planning a special way to honor his memory. We'll show you how at 6:30.
And tomorrow's Mega Millions jackpot is $25 million, and Wednesday's Powerball jackpot has climbed to $361 million. We'll be right back on WKYT This Morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Hope you had a nice weekend. Time to rise and shine on your Monday. I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith. Right now, it's 6:30. Morning continues across the country after 3 officers were gunned down in Baton Rouge.
Also this morning, the Republican National Convention opens later today. We'll have the latest from Cleveland, where 2 Kentucky lawmakers will be in the spotlight and speaking.
And new technology keeping kids safe in Laurel County, how you can take advantage of the Safe ID Kids program just ahead.
And here come some showers and thunderstorms to the north of us. They're heading southbound, so heads up northern Kentucky within about an hour to an hour and a half. These storms will be knocking on your doorstep. When do they roll through the rest of the region, though? I want to break it down for you hour by hour coming up.
Here's the latest from WKYT News. This morning, authorities in Louisiana are trying to figure out what motivated Sunday's deadly ambush on police officers in Baton Rouge. Investigators say Gavin Long, who was a decorated ex-Marine, acted alone when he exchanged gunfire with officers at a gas station, killing at least 3.
Long was shot and killed at the scene. Don Champion has the latest from Baton Rouge.
Mourners in Baton Rouge came together Sunday, hours after the ambush killings of 3 of the city's finest, including 32-year-old Montrell Jackson, a veteran officer who leaves behind a wife and infant son.
My heart is broken and torn, but I believe that God is still a healer in the midst of what we're going through.
Jackson, along with officers Matthew Gerald and Brad Garafola, were shot and killed Sunday by Gavin Long. The ex-Marine from Kansas City opened fire on the officers who were responding to reports of a man dressed in all black with a gun. This 911 call captures one of the officers' desperate pleas for help.
I'm hit. I'm in front of on the side of the old Floyd Browns by the coal wash.
As part of their investigation, authorities are looking into the gunman's social media activity for clues into the attack.
You gotta fight back. That's the only way a bully knows to quit.
Just a week ago, the gunman posted this video under an online alias on YouTube, railing about police violence against African Americans.
If we come together as a family peacefully and talk it out, we can fix our problems.
From the White House Sunday, President Obama said an attack on the police is an attack on all of us. Don Champion, CBS News, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
2 other sheriff's deputies were injured in the shooting. 41-year-old Nicholas Tullier, an 18-year veteran, is in critical condition. 51-year-old Bruce Simmons, a 23-year veteran, is being treated for non-life-threatening injuries.
Vice President Joe Biden is condemning the slaying of the 3 police officers in Louisiana, calling the shootings a despicable act. Biden commented on the shootings during a speech at a Boeing factory in Australia this morning.
Every day, every single day, tens of thousands of law enforcement peace officers wake up in Australia and the United States, and they put on their badge and they go out and do the job, knowing that anything could happen to them. And they respond to help.
Vice President Biden concluded his speech by saying the public owes police officers in general a debt of gratitude for putting their lives on the line. And police departments across the nation are mourning the loss of the 3 officers who were killed in Louisiana.
Yeah, here in the Bluegrass departments throughout the state took to social media to show their support and remember their fellow officers. WKYT's Mark Barber continues our team coverage in Lexington.
Good morning, Rebecca. Louisiana's governor is calling the killing of those 3 officers an unspeakable, heinous act. Here in Lexington, officers are calling it absolutely heartbreaking. First there was Dallas, and now after Baton Rouge, law enforcement agencies are on high alert in central Kentucky. In Georgetown, the police chief is reminding his officers to watch out for each other. In an email that was recently shared on their Facebook page, he told his officers they can pay the greatest respect to their fallen brothers in blue by leading their own community right now. He also reminded his officers that they are still supported by their own community. While many in law enforcement are considering how they will continue policing communities here, others are thinking about the officers who did not make it home.
I think about the families that have been impacted by these tragic situations, the families of the victims and the victims themselves, but also the police officers and their families and their agencies who are involved, and in the bigger picture, their communities, because the interrelationship between police officers and the individuals who have been injured or killed by police officers certainly impact our community at large.
In the past few days, law enforcement officers in the area have been receiving many notes of support and appreciation from people in the area. You can see that perfectly illustrated by taking a look at this picture taken here in Somerset yesterday, where 50 people showed up at the police department to pray for the safety of those officers. Live in downtown Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Thanks so much, Mark. The Republican National Convention kicks off in Cleveland today amid very tight security in the wake of the Baton Rouge attack, and of course Dallas as well. Tonight's theme, Make America Safe Again, focuses on how a Donald Trump presidency would help restore law and order. Instead of it being a showbiz convention, as Trump had promised, it's shaping up to be a family-focused affair. The convention lineup features everyday Americans, successful business people, and 4 of Trump's 5 children. Campaign chairman Paul Manafort says the plan is to, quote, help the American people understand more about Donald Trump, the man, not just the candidate that they've seen on the campaign trail.
At least 2 Kentucky lawmakers will be in Cleveland and in the spotlight in the convention this week. Both U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell and State Senator Ralph Alvarado Jr. are scheduled to speak. This year's theme is Make America Work Again. Well, groundbreaking for a new youth facility gets underway in Jessamine County this morning.
Very exciting stuff here. The Kentucky United Methodist Homes for Children and Youth will start working on the state-of-the-art facility in Nicholasville. And our Mike Byer joins us with a preview of this morning's ceremony. Thank you for joining us.
Big project, guys. The new campus will cost $15 million, and the construction of it begins today. The new youth center will be located at 1115 Ash Grove Drive right here in Nicholasville. It all starts with a groundbreaking ceremony this morning that is scheduled for 10. The ceremony will feature several guest speakers, including Attorney General Andy Beshear, as well as United Methodist Bishop Lindsey Davis. The facility is for abused, neglected, and abandoned children. The new campus will feature a state-of-the-art program building, paddocks for equine therapy, and an on-campus learning facility. Now, the staff will be made up of educators from Jessamine County's renowned alternative school. Live in Jessamine County, Mike Byer, WKYT.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. A missing child can be a parent's biggest fear, and investigators say fingerprints are an important factor in finding any missing person. This week, police in London are working with the Laurel County Public Library to fingerprint children for free. It's part of the Safe ID Kids program. Each parent gets a card with their child's fingerprint, age, eye color, hair color, home address, and picture.
So in the event that a child does go missing, they have that immediately available to hand to the police department to say, my child's missing, this has all of their information on it, these are their fingerprints.
The fingerprinting event will be this Thursday at the Laurel County Public Library in the children's section. It is free and open to the public.
Friends of a fallen Kentucky state trooper killed are planning a race in his memory. Trooper Eric Chrisman was on his way to Iraq when he died in a crash. Chrisman was from Anderson County. Friends say they've come up with a way to keep his generous spirit alive. They will hold a 5K memorial race this September. Registration is open. If you sign up before August 5th, the cost is $30 for adults. It's just $20 for police officers and kids 13 and younger. Friends say money raised from the race will go to Trooper Island and to a scholarship fund set up in Chrisman's name at his old high school. Let's get a check of traffic right now and see what's happening out there on the roads.
Yeah, things are picking up out there, no doubt about it. Let's check in with Officer Don and live drive traffic. He's out at 98.1 The Bull. Good morning.
Good morning. A little debris in the roadway right now on the inner loop of New Circle between Winchester Road and Liberty Road. The right lane partially blocked. They're working on getting that cleared. So hopefully by the time you head out the door, that won't be a factor. Just to give you the heads up there. Let's get a look at overall traffic flow this morning around the city. Inner and outer loops of the circle, also the interstate, 75 north and southbound between the splits. We're doing okay. Not any red popping up, at least. That's what we're looking for. As far as drive times are concerned, headed to Nicholasville or from Nicholasville, we're still averaging about 13 minutes to Lexington. From Georgetown, 16, and Richmond across the Clays Ferry Bridge, doing about 33 minutes. Now back to you in the studio.
Should be an easy ride in from most locations or across town right now. And remember, you can get the latest traffic and weather info anytime with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. Download that for free and you're good to go.
It's always good to be free, right?
That's right.
I prefer free.
The price is right. Hey, it's good to have you with us on WKYT this morning. We have a lot more news coming up for you, our top stories that we're covering, and some other things to tell you about.
Taylor Swift shook off some recent unpleasant headlines and gave kids at an Australian children's hospital the surprise of a lifetime.
We have some storms heading our direction. They'll actually affect the northern zones first and then slide southbound. We're going hour by hour. I'm going to help you plan around these storms for today. That's coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
For our state, it's actually a pretty good start to the work week. Now, as we get off into the northern zones, go north of us, here come some thunderstorms heading our direction. That's going to affect some of our traveling early this morning in far northern Kentucky, Boone, Kenton, Campbell counties. That's where you could start to see those storms affect us here in about an hour to an hour and a half. The good news here is you see these bits and pieces kind of falling apart. That's good news for us. It's falling apart just a bit, but I still expect those storms to make their way through our northern zones, off into the central zones, and even all the way down south. Let's go hour by hour. Let me help you plan out the rest of your morning. Here's 8 a.m. I would say anywhere from 7:30 to about 9 o'clock is when you can see these storms to approach far northern Kentucky. So you get into Bracken County, Mason County, still around that time. But Boone, Kenton, Campbell County, you guys will actually see it before anybody else. And then it slides southbound. Now, this is no widespread severe weather. Don't expect severe weather. Expect strong storms, but just prepare for at least a stray thunderstorm that could become severe. Right along the I-64 corridor, that does include Lexington, Frankfort, Midway, Georgetown, Moorhead. Those areas anywhere from 10 a.m. to about noontime. That's your best bet as the movement is going right now. So if the trend continues, 10 a.m. to about noontime around 64, and then watch what happens. We go all the way southbound. So this, yeah, it's not extremely strong, but it's strong enough to push it all the way through the state of Kentucky. And there's 3 p.m., so anywhere from noontime to about 3 p.m. is when it rolls through the southern zones too. Now, here's the deal. That's not all that we're going to be watching for. Look at some developing back toward the north. There's 6 p.m. Looks pretty calm during that time. So most of this is mid to late morning into early afternoon. Most of it. Still can't rule out a stray cell during that 5 to about 8 p.m. time. Northern Kentucky and central zones. So that's for today. A couple of rumbles for tomorrow too. And then we get into a heat wave that's coming our direction Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even off towards your weekend. So that warm front moves northbound and it's mainly dry during that time too. I don't expect many storms during that time. It's about the heat Wednesday through Friday and maybe even Saturday too. This is not your feels like temperature. This is not the dew points added into it. This is your actual temperature that we're going to be feeling there. Hot and humid days ahead. 93 degrees showing up there on Friday here in Lexington. And to be honest, it looks pretty much the same there for the weekend. Here's your 7-day forecast of storms, guys. Like I said, mid to late morning, off into early afternoon. That's your best bet for these hit and miss thunderstorms. Not everybody will see rain today. Pretty decent shot at it today and tomorrow. And then Wednesday through really Saturday. Actually good looking days, but it's not going to be good feeling days. It's kind of one of those times you don't want to be outdoors just because it's so hot outside. A lot of water will be needed the next several days, really.
Well, we knew it would hit us eventually, right? Even if it's towards the end of July.
All right. Well, here we are, the dog days of summer.
That's right.
Thank you, Micah. 6:46 now on WKYT. Taylor Swift's rocky relationship has been making the headlines lately, but she's shaking it off and focusing on the positive.
The pop superstar took time out of her vacation in Australia to visit a children's hospital in Brisbane, even performed with some of the kids. The hospital posted the video and took pics of Swift to Facebook and Twitter, saying, "We're all still cray-cray about Tay-Tay," and thanking the singer for the special surprise. The kids will, you could assume, never forget. Pretty cool.
All right, there you go. Just interesting way to spend a little vacation
I'm sure those
time.
kids loved that.
Absolutely. 6:47, rolling towards 7 o'clock on WKYT this Monday morning.
We have more news when we return.
Coming up, Nora, Gail, and Charlie are in Cleveland for the Republican National Convention. Plus, as we learn more about the deadly attack on police in Baton Rouge, we're looking into its impact on convention security. More real news coming up on CBS This Morning.
Welcome back to WKYT this morning. Our time is 6:50. It's 10 till 7. Authorities in Louisiana are trying to figure out a motive for that deadly attack on police officers in Baton Rouge. That is one of the stories making headlines this morning. Rebecca's joining us now with a look at what else is trending on the web now.
Here's the latest details on a shooting that left 3 police officers dead. Investigators say Gavin Long, a decorated ex-Marine, acted alone when he exchanged gunfire with officers at a gas station. Long was shot and killed at the scene. Also trending this morning, an Anderson County family forced out of their home after it caught fire overnight. Crews say the fire completely engulfed the home on Sea Ridge Road near Bluegrass Parkway in Anderson County. The cause of the fire is still under investigation this morning. Also, check out our story on today's Republican National Convention in Cleveland, Ohio. A long list of speakers here, including some Kentucky lawmakers as well. So look for a local flair to the convention. That's what's trending right now on WKYT.com.
All right, other news now. It's the first day of the Republican National Convention in Cleveland, and Washington Bureau Chief Jacqueline Policastro is there. She gives us a look behind the scenes.
We're here on the convention floor. This is where delegates will gather to listen to speeches and to vote. Every state has a sign like this one. Right now, they're testing the convention stage, making sure the graphics and the microphones work. Let's go up to the roof. Take a look at all of those balloons. This is normally a parking garage, but now it's set up as Media Row. This is where we will have direct access to convention delegates, lawmakers, and speakers. And here's Freedom Plaza, an open-air meeting space. It will be filled with food and entertainment, a spot for convention delegates to gather. Reporting at the Republican National Convention in Cleveland, I'm Jacqueline Policastro.
All right, and Jacqueline will be working with WKYT and our sister stations, bringing you local angles throughout the week. Well, the nation's oldest National Park Service ranger now has a new commemorative coin from President Obama. In a surprise ceremony, 94-year-old Betty Reed Soskin received a replacement for the presidential coin that was stolen from her last month during a violent home invasion. Soskin became a park ranger about 10 years ago and leads tours on the Rosie the Riveter World War II Homefront National Historical Park in California. That park honors women who worked in factories during wartime. Phil Mickelson was terrific at the British Open, tying a major tournament record with a 63 and closing with a 65 to finish a 17 under at Royal Troon. But it wasn't enough. Sweden's Henrik Stenson, claimed his first major championship, outlasting Mickelson in the final round. Stenson tied a major record with a 63 that included 10 birdies and 2 bogeys. By the way, Kentucky native J.B. Holmes finished 3rd overall, the highest major victory in a major tournament of his career. So congratulations to all who did so well there at the tournament.
Yeah, looks great. Well, a fantastic time lapse of severe weather rolling in over Manhattan was captured on video.
Yeah, we want to show it to you. Take a look here. The sporadic storm blew through New York City last week. It disappeared just as quickly as it arrived, but in no time, social media was fawning all over the time-lapse video that you see there. Certainly is amazing. New this morning on WKYT, Laurel County deputies have arrested a man after he barricaded himself in his home. Deputies say they were called out to Willard Hampton's home on John Parker Road in London yesterday afternoon because Hampton had fired a gun at his ex-wife. They say Hampton had also drank a 12-pack of beer and a 5th of whiskey and then set his ex-wife's belongings outside and told her to leave and never to come back. Deputies say the two argued and then Hampton shot at her. He then barricaded himself in the house. Eventually, deputies were able to get Hampton to come out of the home, and they've arrested him. Hampton is charged with assault, domestic violence, criminal mischief, resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, and facing an alcohol charge as well. He's being held right now in the Laurel County Jail. State officials say the Warwick's Run boat ramp at Cave Run Lake near Moorhead is closing temporarily, and that'll start next week. The Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife says the boat ramp will be closed next next Monday through Friday, and it serves as a staging area during that time for a fish habitat improvement project. It's the third year that wildlife officials will install artificial habitats around the lake. Officials say the improvement project will be completed by next summer.
They call it Hillbilly Christmas in July. Motorcyclists and classic car enthusiasts were in the Harley-Davidson parking lot in Pikeville to ride the 11th annual Randy Jones Memorial Ride. Participants rode to raise money for Shriners Hospitals in Lexington.
What we have done here in the past 10 years is we've taken $428,000 to Lexington Shriners Hospital. We've taken over 44,000 toys with the help of Double Quick. So this year our goal was $72,000, and looks like we're going to beat that.
Organizers say there are about 500 motorcycles in the ride. Looks like a good time for them.
It does, and I'm sure they, they were dealing with the heat.
Yeah, it feels nothing like Christmas, even if it is July, right?
You got that right, and it sounds like this week we're going to really feel like summer around here. I want to check in with Micah before we go for a look at our forecast.
Yeah, give us about 30 minutes to about an hour, and you'll start to see those storms increase in far northern Kentucky, Boone, Kenton, Campbell counties. Here it comes in, and look, none of this is severe weather. This hasn't had a severe thunderstorm warning on it since I've been here early this morning a few hours ago. So all this is just going to be beneficial rain to the yards. Some of these are strong, but really the front edge of this is kind of falling apart. But heads up, 30 minutes to an hour, you can expect that in northern Kentucky. And then it slides southbound. Let me take you hour by hour. This is going to help you just kind of plan around these storms just a bit. There's 8 to 9 a.m. northern Kentucky. Look down south, and you're going to be seeing that across the 64 corridor, including Frankfort, Lexington, and Moorhead. That's going to be anywhere from 10 a.m. to noontime. That's when you can expect that if the trend continues of the speed right now. Go noon to 3 p.m., it goes into the southern zones. The farther south it goes, the more it fades away. And then we get into the afternoon. There's not much going on in the afternoon, but we still can't rule out at least a chance deep into the afternoon.
All right, we'll stay on top of it on air and online, and nobody is more up to date than you to start your day. Thank you for being with us on WKYT.
Have a good one.